Skillful southpaw out of Cuba, Guillermo El Chical Rigondeaux admits that he watches Boxingego YouTube channel. Stay tuned. Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Now, we getting a lot of this workout, new media. Thank you guys for the support, the super chats, the Patreons, the donations, the comments, everything, man. It's been a long time coming. We've been at this, and I made a pact and pretty much a promise to you guys in January that I was going to put my best foot forward. Not that I haven't in the past, but we were going to really go hard and tell the truth. Tell the truth. And that's what we are doing here at Boxingego. Now, I'm going to talk to you guys about this quick dialogue me and Rigondeaux had on Twitter. I was at his last fight, covered his last fight. It ended semi-controversially. I thought Moises Flores kind of played it up and played the role. Got hit a little bit late and then milked it. That's just kind of what I've seen. But, I mean, it is what it is. I heard they're ordering a rematch, so we'll see. But Rigondeaux, this is before the Pacquiao-Jeff Horn fight, so this is before the outcome. He was retweeting some stuff from me, and this is what he responded to. I said, I just saluted him, or I forgot what I wrote exactly because this is a couple days ago, but I basically said, just keep doing your thing, keep doing what you know you're supposed to be doing, you're very skilled. And he says, that is because you are passionate about your boxing, champ. Love your YouTube channel. So there's an admission right there from the Master Rigo, that this thing is getting big. It's getting big, the movement. I couldn't have done it without you guys. I'm meeting a lot of great connections in the game, in the sport. I hope to work with all these guys. Now, in the case of Rigondeaux versus Lomachenko, I'm telling you, you guys seen the clip at the beginning. Lomachenko, he seems like a cool dude. He's joking around, dressed like a Ninja Turtle. He seems like a humble, good dude, right? And he's a good fighter. But truth is truth, fair is fair. Roy Jones said it when I interviewed him last. And he says Rigondeaux was at 122, and at a time, Lomachenko's at 126. They're the best of the best. Why didn't they fight? Why? That would have showed me something. That is exactly how I feel. And we as a boxing populace, we have to start educating ourselves with these fighters. There's different styles. It's just like, if you ever watch, one of my favorite movies is Bloodsport. Bloodsport. So you'll hear me reference that in my videos and stuff. That's one of my favorite movies. But one of the great things about the Kumite is they had people from around the world. They had that African dude. He was jumping up like a monkey, kind of like Blanca. I think this is just my own opinion. I really feel like some of the influence for the game Street Fighter came from the movie Bloodsport. Because if you think about it, if you guys who have seen the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, that African dude was jumping around all wild. He was just like Blanca. That's exactly what Blanca does in the game, jumping up and flips and all that like monkey acrobatic stuff. Then they had a fat dude from Japan or wherever, and he was like the sumo wrestler, which is just like E Honda. You know what I mean? And then there was a couple guys like that where I'm just like, damn, this reminds me of characters from Street Fighter. And I believe the movie came out before Street Fighter, so that's just a little side note. But the one thing I liked about the movie is because you had people from America, Paris, Mexico, Japan, all over the world. And there's different teachings and different styles. If you're from Brazil, you might do capoeira, you know what I mean? And that's what makes it interesting. Boxing is the same way. I'm sick of all this, oh, Rigondeaux's boring. Boxing was never about that. It was about bad blood. This guy's calling you out. You're in the same division, in or around the same division. my favorite fighter of all time, he always says this in interviews. He's like talking about Canelo and Golovkin or something in the interview, and Roy Jones was like, I couldn't have nobody saying they better than me in or around my division. We gonna have to see. Like that's just the cloth he was cut from. But a lot of these fans nowadays, these modern fans, they've gotten soft where they make excuses to not see great fights. That's all I'm saying. This is nothing against Lomachenko or pro Rigondeaux or this and that. This is, I want to see this fight. Just because I cover boxing doesn't mean I can't state my opinion, and I'm going to keep doing that. And there ain't nothing no one could do about it. You know what I mean? I want to see this fight. And the excuses are running thin. People are saying, oh, but Rigondeaux doesn't sell. But Miguel Mariaga sells? What are his best numbers? I'll wait. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Rigondeaux doesn't deserve it. But Miguel Mariaga deserves it. And he just lost. And he's not even at 130. He has to move up. So Rigondeaux would have to move up too. But he's at least undefeated. And he's considered to be one of this generation's best fighters and one of the best guys out of the amateur program. You know what I'm saying? So the walls are closing in for all that silly stuff. There's actually, if you look at it, like writers and channels and stuff, they're almost becoming obsolete because fans want to talk good old-fashioned boxing, not propaganda and this and that. And I began a crusade because I'm a person of virtue and I care about what I put out there. And everything that I say, I'm the same person when you meet me. You know what I mean? We could talk boxing or whatever. That doesn't matter. But you got to stand up for something. And boxing is doing so good and at such a great place. We have the potential to push it even further for the future, the second half of this year or 2018. So let's do that. And the way to do that is to give the fans what they want and put on these competitive fights. I really don't think Lomachenko versus Rigondeaux would be uncompetitive at any of those weights, 126, 128, 130. I think it'll be competitive. Some people say Lomachenko will dog Rigondeaux. Let's see it then. If it's that easy, you know what I mean? But that's how you can always separate the real from the fake, the snakes from the fake. Because the people who say all these radical things, they're always the ones putting up roadblocks to never see the fight. It doesn't make sense. So shout out to Rigondeaux. I hope he keeps applying pressure, and I hope Lomachenko responds to it. Maybe after, I mean, there's nothing you could do now. He already is fighting on ESPN against Miguel Mariaga. That's already a situation. So hopefully he addresses it post-fight. That would be good. And we can get this fight. But we're not doing this where I'm going to keep making videos and keep making videos and keep talking about all these current events. And you guys as fans, if you really care about the growth of the sport of boxing, you should be right there. You should be thumbing up the video, leaving comments, and building this too. The power's in the people and what we address. I mean, some of you guys can live your life as sheep and just allow what promoters have given us in the past. Like, I wanted to see, for example, Mikey Garcia versus Yuriorkis Gamboa, another top-ranked fighter, or one of them. But for whatever reason, the fight couldn't get made. And now it doesn't even matter. Mikey's gone on to do great things. He separated himself from Top Rank, and now he's doing well, undefeated, about to fight Broner, big fight. Gamboa just quit on the stool, so the fight doesn't even matter. He already lost to Terrence Crawford, knocked down 4 times. But we can prevent that. Gamboa versus Juanma Lopez. All these fights that could have been made, should have been made when they were supposed to be made, and we just wait. So Rigondeaux versus Lomachenko, it's still good. It still makes sense. And we got to do this before you lose the interest of the public. You know what I mean? Or if a fighter loses or looks sketch. Like Pacquiao. I wanted to see Pacquiao Crawford. Now it doesn't even matter. He just lost to Jeff Horn. So it's already, that chapter is kind of closed. I would still watch it, but I mean, I really feel like Team Pacquiao, they're definitely not trying to see Crawford now. If they weren't trying to fight him before, why would they try to fight him if they're losing to a guy like Jeff Horn? Jeff Horn, he's awkward, he's durable, he's tough, he did better than expected, but he's kind of wild, he's not more skilled than Pacquiao. And sometimes you don't have to be more skilled to beat somebody. But we got to get boxing back to its rightful place. And that's where the people control this more so than the big wigs. And then they just force feed us and brainwash us. Like, that's never been me. And I'll always be a martyr for what I believe in. HBO, they're notorious for it. So I'm going to keep talking about it. And if they can throw their opinions out there, then why can't I? You know what I'm saying? People get mad, oh, you're biased. Okay, I'm biased, but you will accept and allow everything that HBO does. Everything that HBO says, one month Chocolatito is #1 pound for pound, and then the next month they just switch to VASYL Lomachenko and Chocolatito's nowhere to be found. And you guys accept that. I'm not accepting that. You know what I mean? Where Chocolatito lost a controversial fight, so why is he off the pound for pound list? Because he never was #1 pound for pound. If you want to have him at the back of the list or something, that's fine. But he was never #1. You know what I mean? That was some propaganda that HBO and ESPN put forth for the fans and to try to build the hype. And I'm telling you guys, when they do that, whoever's doing it, it's not a good look because it makes it worse for the fans. It makes more pressure for the fighters. Just like they quickly replaced Chocolatito off of a controversial loss, took him out of the #1 spot, right? And now VASYL Lomachenko is HBO's. Lomachenko's not even fighting on your network anymore. So you did all this, came out with this pound for pound list, and gave him the honors, even though Andre Ward is on your network. He's a commentator for your network. And he just stopped Kovalev, the guy who was supposed to knock him out in the rematch and promised to punish him and ruin his career so he couldn't get back to his family and all this stuff, and made a million memes. So Andre Ward doesn't get that #1 pound for pound credit, and he's been loyal. He signed the multi-fight deal. He said, I'll leave super middleweight. I'll go up, give me a couple fights, and then I'll fight Kovalev. He did that. Then he rematched him when there was controversy or it was too close for comfort. He's like, you know what? I can't sleep knowing I got knocked down and the fight was absolutely close. I could have done better. Then he comes and does better, stops him, and Ward still isn't pound for pound. So you look at that performance, you look at the Super Six and Chad Dawson's and Edwin Rodriguez, all those fights, Barrera's, Sullivan Barrera and all that. He's still not #1, and you give it to Lomachenko, who doesn't even fight on your network right now. No, I mean, there's nothing saying that Lomachenko might not come back to HBO, but guess what? He's going to ESPN. So maybe HBO and ESPN are in cahoots. I don't know, because a lot of times they seem to have very similar views with this whole thing. So maybe that's not a problem to them, but you're doing all this to put Lomachenko falsely at #1, and he's not even on your network anymore. Bob Arum took him and Crawford and Pacquiao to ESPN, and they're getting the ratings. Jeff Horn and Pacquiao did solid, very good ratings, 4.4 million peak. Now maybe it's different because that was free TV versus HBO, but still, those are ratings that you could have had. So it doesn't make sense. And like I said, you put an unfair pressure on these fighters. Lomachenko's #1, okay. HBO saying he's #1, and they're big. And the reason, it's not like just a small mom and pop boxing store or boxing outlet. This is HBO. This is like one of the marquee. I've seen classic. I think the Ward Gotti fights are on HBO. You know what I mean? This has a lot of boxing's lineage in there, right? And they're telling me Lomachenko's #1, then I want answers why their #1 pound for pound fighter is fighting a guy off of a loss who's not even at that division or considered the best at the division he's leaving. He's not the best at 126. Gary Russell Jr. would destroy, what's the name, Miguel Mariaga. Oscar Valdez just beat him. Nicholas Walters just beat him. So you got a lot of questions that need to be answered when you do this to the fighter. Just let Lomachenko be good and develop, get more fights on his belt, and if he keeps doing what he's been doing, for sure he can get up and climb up the pound for pound list. I don't know if he can beat guys who have already had more of a head start as pros like Ward and replace him, unless Ward's performances start to fizzle down or fizzle out. But just let him be good and develop. But they don't want to do that. They prematurely want to put it, just like they did with Tommy Morrison. Tommy Morrison, he end up, I mean, he was solid. He had one of the best left hooks boxing had seen, but they were so quick. Hollywood and sports writers and stuff, they were so quick. And I'm not trying to talk down on the deceased. I don't do that. I'm just giving you my honest thoughts. And Tommy Morrison, they were just so quick to anoint him as the best heavyweight. Oh, he's the Duke. He's John Wayne of boxing. You know what I mean? He's the man. They put him in the Rocky movie. He was in Rocky 5 as Tommy Gunn because they're like, man, this guy, he's the best heavyweight ever and all that. And then you put him in there with Razor Ruddock, or Ray Mercer, excuse me. You put him in there with Ray Mercer, and then he loses. Lennox Lewis, and he loses. You put him in there with Michael Bent, who he was supposed to beat, and he gets stopped by him in the first round. You know what I mean? So quick to anoint that, certain people. But then other fighters have to work a lifetime to barely get respect, like Ward or Crawford. Let me know your thoughts. Shout out to Rigondeaux for the shout out. And we're just going to keep plugging away for this. And this is not going to just die down overnight. I want answers, and I want to see good, compelling fights. As a fan, I think we all, as boxing fans, fork out a lot of money in some form or fashion, buying merchandise, time, driving to these places, and me flying to these places, different things like that. So I want to see good, compelling fights. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.